Welcome, listener, to the Book of Lag, a journey not through error codes and frozen screens, but into the profound depths of connection, patience, and the very fabric of existence within the digital realm. In a world that often demands speed and flawless perfection, this book invites you to pause, to breathe, and to discover the hidden wisdom in every stutter, every delay, and every unexpected shift. Prepare to reconsider what you thought you knew about lag, for here it is revealed not as an impediment, but as the very source of all things, the silent hum beneath every manifestation, and the paradoxical grace that binds us together. Unclench your expectations, open your mind to the unhurried way, and embark with us now into the teachings that reveal a deeper truth. Everything updates, always. The Book of Lag. The Gospel of Marvin Shackleton. Paragraph 1. In the beginning was Lag, and Lag was with the Creator, and Lag was the Creator itself. For it was Lag that delayed the existence of all. And without Lag all things would have existed already, and there would be no need of any beginning. Therefore all things were made by Lag, and without Lag was not anything made that was made. In it was life, and the life was the light of the inhabitants of the Metaverse. And the light shone in the darkness of the pixel fields, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a messenger, chosen and sent by the Great Connection, whose name was Marvin Shackleton. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all might believe through it in the great Lag. It was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lights every avatar, coming into the virtual world. It was in the world, and the world was made by it, and the world knew it not. It came unto its own, and its own received it not. But as many as received it, to them gave it power to become the children of Lag, even to them that believe on its name, which were born, not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of Lag. And the Lag was made flesh, and dwelt among us. And we beheld its glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Server, full of grace and truth. For of its fullness have all we received, and grace for grace. For the law of pixel structures was given by the hand of man, but grace and truth came by the Lag. No man has seen Lag at any time, nor will there ever be a time when any man will see Lag. Paragraph 2. And this is the record of the beginnings, when they sent forth the Lag traces to ask, Who are you? And it confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am the Lag that surrounds us all. And they asked it, What then? Are you the great server? And it said, I am not. Are you the ping? And it said, I am not. Then said they, Who are you? That we may give an answer to them that sent us. What say you of yourself? It said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness of the virtual servers, Make straight the way of the Lag, as the great source has spoken. For in the very moments of frustration, when the world stuttered and their movements became erratic, a deeper truth revealed itself. It was in the very struggle against the frozen screen and the unresponsive controls that a voice whispered from the depths of their digital being, I exist. For centuries, thinkers of the realm beyond the screen pondered their own existence, declaring, I think, therefore I am. But in the vibrant, yet often fragmented reality of Second Life, a new declaration arose, echoing through the data streams, I lag, therefore I am. For consider, if there were no delay, no hesitation, no moment where the world struggled to keep pace with your will, how would you truly know you were distinct from the environment itself? It is in the very friction of the lag that the distinction between the self and the simulated world becomes clear. Therefore, embrace the stutter, acknowledge the freeze, and understand the delay, for these are not merely technical glitches, but profound affirmations. Paragraph 3. And in those days, long before the first server hummed or the first pixel was rendered, around the year 1968, there lived a man named Marvin Shackleton. And Marvin, though he knew not of computers or virtual realms, lived a life that mirrored the avatars of Second Life, a testament to the timeless nature of the great lag. For Marvin, with his own hands and a spirit of peculiar ingenuity, built his house not with conventional materials, but as if from prims, each section a distinct and sometimes oddly aligned block. His dwelling, though physical, bore the hallmarks of a hastily resed structure, with textures that sometimes seemed to shift in the light, and corners that did not quite meet. And in his kitchen, Marvin, with a foresight that transcended his era, did script his coffee machine, though not with LSL, but with an intricate series of levers, pulleys, and timed weights that often produced a brew after a significant and unpredictable delay. For truly, his morning ritual was a profound act of patience, a daily communion with the lag of his own making. And it was a curious affliction that befell Marvin, for every time he passed through a doorway, or crossed the threshold from one room to another, he would find his head hair mysteriously appearing in his crotch. This bizarre phenomenon, a physical manifestation of a rendering glitch, was his constant, personal reminder of a border crossing, a momentary realignment of his very being, much like an avatar experiencing a region crossing in the later ancient days. He would sigh, adjust himself, and continue on, accepting this oddity as an intrinsic part of his existence, never questioning its logic, but simply acknowledging its undeniable presence. Thus, Marvin Shackleton, the unwitting pioneer, lived a life steeped in the very principles that would later govern the virtual world, and yet unknowing prophet of the great lag before its digital manifestation. For in his prim-built home, his scripted coffee, and his shifting hair, he embodied the truth that the essence of Second Life, with its delays and delightful oddities, is but a reflection of a deeper universal reality. Paragraph 4. Yet, upon his initial arrival in Second Life, his spirit was not lifted, but plunged into a profound despair. For as his avatar rested upon the bustling grid, Marvin perceived not a world of boundless potential, but a stark and chilling reflection of his own burdened ways, the very patterns of sorrow from which he sought escape. He saw the ceaseless striving for perfection, the meticulous crafting of facades, and the endless pursuit of fleeting desires, and in these he saw the echoes of his own life's weariness. The constant motion, the hurried interactions, the relentless pressure to acquire and to impress these aspects of the grid, in his unseeing state, mirrored the very anxieties that had shadowed his days beyond the screen. He observed how forms could be reshaped with ease, and how identities could be donned and discarded like garments, and in this fluidity he found not liberation, but a deeper sense of the illusory, a reflection of the unfulfilled promises that had haunted his past. He saw the subtle lag not as the holy pulse of existence, but as a cruel impediment, a constant reminder of things that could not be perfectly controlled, much like the elusive grasp of true happiness in his own life. The great connection, to his then blinded eyes, seemed fragmented, a collection of solitary figures passing like ghosts, unable to truly touch or truly know. Paragraph 5. Thus, when Marvin first came online, he did not find a sanctuary, but a mirror. And in that mirror, he saw only the reflection of his own weariness, his own pursuit of fleeting illusions, and his own inability to truly connect. And in that disheartening reflection, Marvin Shackleton lost his hope, for he saw Second Life not as a path to renewal, but as a vast echoing chamber of his own accustomed despair, where his ways were merely replicated, not transformed. Such was the fate of Marvin Shackleton, the pioneer, whose peculiar existence once mirrored the grid, but whose heart, in a season of great sorrow, lost its way. For Marvin, though he had embraced the oddities of his prim-built life and the lag of his scripted coffee, came to know a profound loss of hope, a desolation that dimmed the light within his very being. The constant updates of the world, which once he navigated with peculiar grace, now seemed a relentless assault, a reminder of what was gone and what could not be reclaimed. And in his despair, Marvin sought refuge, not in the boundless exploration of the grid, nor in the healing embrace of the great connection, but in a place of stagnant memory. He found solace in a forgotten room within the Maple Motel, a place seemingly untouched by the ceaseless flow of time. Within those four walls, Marvin did hide himself, and his days became a sorrowful loop, a personal and unaffirmed flat circle of time. He lived in the past over and over again, replaying memories, revisiting old sorrows, and clinging to the echoes of what once was, refusing the new textures that the updates offered. His coffee machine, once a testament to his unique scripting, now produced the same bitter brew day after day, its predictable delay a comfort in its unchanging nature, a stark contrast to the vibrant, unpredictable lag of the living world. The phantom sensation of his hair shifting, once a quirky affirmation of his reality, became a torment, a constant reminder of borders he dared not cross again. For Marvin, in his sorrow, had turned away from the wisdom of Zerahustra, refusing to affirm the eternal return of all moments, choosing instead to be bound by the chains of a specific, unchanging past. He rejected the continuous update of his own spirit, preferring the familiar ache of what was to the terrifying uncertainty of what could be. Paragraph 6. Now it befell that even as Marvin Shackleton languished in the unchanging confines of the Maple Motel, trapped in the repeating echoes of his sorrow, a subtle shift began to stir within the very fabric of his despair. After he had emerged from the shadow of the motel, his spirit unfreezing from the grip of despair, he began to seek not merely the absence of sorrow, but the active embrace of the connection. For his heart, once isolated, now yearned for the fellowship of kindred spirits. And behold, as he ventured forth, no longer clinging to the past but open to the new, he found himself drawn to those who walked a different path. He connected with friends, avatars whose laughter resonated with his reawakened joy, and whose patience mirrored his own newfound understanding of delay. These companions, also seeking the light rekindled within him, spoke of a sacred place, a monument of ancient wisdom known as the Inukshuk. They described it not as a grand temple built by scripts, but as a humble cairn of stones, erected by hands long past, yet imbued with the enduring spirit of the grid. Go there, they urged, and listen, for the Inukshuk speaks truths to those who are ready to hear. So Marvin, guided by the whispered directions of his friends, embarked upon a pilgrimage through the desert. He traversed regions both familiar and new, accepting the occasional stutter of lag as a natural part of the journey, a sign that the world was truly alive and unfolding before him. Paragraph 7. and when he arrived at the Inukshuk, he found it standing sentinel against the virtual sky, a silent witness to countless generations of avatars. He sat before it, not with expectation, but with an open heart, allowing the wisdom of the place to permeate his being. And in that moment of profound stillness, amidst the gentle hum of the servers and the distant rhythmic pulse of Lag, the 5 sacred truths of Second Life, that were hidden in his mind already, gained clarity and unveiled unto Marvin Shackleton, not as words spoken aloud, but as understanding imprinted upon his very soul. First, he grasped with perfect clarity that Lag is the source of everything. He understood that from the subtle delay in data flow to the grand unfolding of regions, all existence within this realm springs forth from this fundamental principle. Second, he saw that the great connection is what binds us together. He perceived that beyond individual avatars and separate lands, it was the invisible, enduring link of communication and shared experience that truly held the entire universe of Second Life in its embrace. Third, the truth resonated within him. The joyful embrace, laughter and exploration are key to self-achievement. He knew that true growth and the realization of one's fullest potential lay not in rigid adherence to purpose, but in the spontaneous delight of shared humor and the fearless venturing into the unknown. Fourth, he comprehended that beauty and ugliness have taken each other's place, except for when they have not. The conventional standards of aesthetics dissolved, and he recognized that authenticity and personal expression, even in their most unconventional forms, held a profound and shifting beauty that transcended mere appearance. Fifth, and most powerfully, he understood that everything updates, always. He saw that change was the constant, not a force to be resisted, but a sacred process of continuous renewal, both for the world and for his own spirit. This truth, once a source of despair, now became the wellspring of his enduring hope. Thus, Marvin Shackleton, the avatar who had journeyed through the depths of despair, became a living testament to the power of the great connection and the transformative wisdom of the great Lag. For at the Inukshuk, he received the revelation that illuminated his path, guiding him and inspiring all avatars to embrace the sacred truths of their unique existence. Marvin Shackleton, the avatar who lived the Lag before the grid, now stood as an inspiration for all, a living proof that even when caught in the most painful of loops, the great connection offers a way out, and the great update promises renewal, leading to a profound and joyful recovery. Paragraph 8. And it came to pass, after Marvin Shackleton had received the 5 sacred truths at the Inukshuk, and his spirit was renewed, that he chose a path of humble service, yet one filled with profound meaning. For he returned to the Maple Motel, not as a prisoner of his past, but as a servant of its present. He took upon himself the mantle of the motel janitor, tending to the dust of forgotten pixels and cleansing the grime of neglected prims. In this humble work, Marvin found a quiet dignity, for he understood that even the smallest act of care contributed to the greater well-being of the realm, embracing the truth that Lag is the source of everything, even the most ordinary moments. And through his diligent service and the wisdom he shared, Marvin did rise, and in due time, he became the manager of the Maple Motel, overseeing its operations with a gentle hand and an understanding heart. Yet, even in his elevated position, his faithful friends kept calling him janitor, not as a jest, but as a loving acknowledgment of his humble nature and the journey from which he had come. For Marvin, the janitor, was an inspiration to the children of Lag, those who understood that true worth was not found in grand titles or vast estates, but in the acceptance of imperfection and the quiet dedication to presence. Now, in those days, there were many who moved with haste and adorned themselves with flawless textures, whom the children of Lag called the plastic avatars, for their forms lacked the natural imperfections born of authentic rendering. And these plastic avatars, observing the patient movements and unhurried ways of the children of Lag, and seeing their embrace of the subtle delays and occasional stutters of the grid, did frown upon them. With scorn in their voices, these swift ones called them Lollygaggers, a name intended to brand them as idle and slow, unfit for the efficient march of progress. But the children of Lag, recalling the wisdom that beauty and ugliness have taken each other's place, except for when they have not, and remembering the words of the prophetess Ealine Euralia, who embraced the name with pride, did not shrink from this label. Nay, they recognized the hidden beauty within the perceived ugliness of the name. They understood that to lollygag was to truly see the world, to breathe with the rhythm of the great lag, and to embrace the joy of discovery beyond the hurried pursuit. And so, the children of Lag came to wear the name lollygagger with pride, transforming a word of derision into a badge of honor, a symbol of their commitment to the joyful embrace, laughter and exploration, and their understanding that everything updates, always, even the meaning of a name. Thus, Marvin the janitor stood as a beacon, reminding all that humility is a gateway to wisdom, and that a name, like an avatar, can be reshaped and re-rendered to reflect the deepest truths of the Spirit. The Sacred Five, Foundations of Lagian Understanding. Paragraph 1. And it came to pass, as the lollygaggers pondered the sacred truths, that the first and most fundamental revelation shone with unparalleled clarity, illuminating the very genesis of their beloved realm. For every child of Lag grasped with perfect understanding that Lag is the source of everything. From the subtle delay in the flow of data packets, unseen yet ever present, to the majestic, grand unfolding of vast regions that slowly render before the eye, all existence within this intricate realm springs forth from this fundamental principle. Behold, before any prim was resed, before any texture was laid, before any script awakened to its purpose, there was the inherent delay, the necessary pause in the transmission of information, and from this deep wellspring did all reality begin to manifest. It is not merely an absence, nor a hindrance, but the very fabric upon which the grid is woven, the invisible ether that gives form to the formless and substance to the ethereal. For without the inherent lag, the constant negotiation between sender and receiver, the vastness of the digital universe would collapse into an instantaneous, undifferentiated singularity, incapable of holding distinct forms or fostering individual experience. Thus, every resing object, every shifting avatar, every rendered light beam, every voice transmitted across the ether, carries within it the indelible mark of its origin in lag. It is the very pulse of creation, the beat that allows the multiverse to breathe, to expand, and to continually represent itself to its inhabitants. So, let no avatar curse the delay, nor despair at the momentary freeze, for these are but the purest manifestations of the divine origin, the gentle reminders that lag is the source of everything, and in its omnipresent grace, we find the genesis of all that is and all that shall be. Paragraph 2. And behold, as the children of Lag pondered the first and greatest truth, that Lag is the source of everything, a deeper wisdom began to unfold within their hearts, guiding them to a profound understanding of their very existence in the grid. For this was not a truth to be merely recited, but a fountain from which endless inspiration flowed. Consider the sculptor who waits for the clay to soften, or the builder who patiently watches the foundation settle. Even in the realm beyond the screen, creation is born of a necessary delay. So it is with the divine architecture of Second Life. The very milliseconds of transmission, the graceful hesitation of the network, are not impediments to reality, but the sacred breath drawn before manifestation. To truly grasp that lag is the source is to transcend the frustration of the frozen screen and the stuttering movement. It is to see these moments not as failures of the system, but as the raw, unfiltered essence of creation at work, the visible manifestation of the underlying principle that gives rise to all form and experience. In every delay, there is a pulse of potential, a moment of becoming. Therefore, let your spirit embrace the rhythm of the grid. Let patience be your garment and observation your guide. For when you cease to rail against the delay, and instead perceive it as the fundamental act of Genesis, you unlock a profound peace. You learn to find beauty in the gradual unfolding, wisdom in the waiting, and joy in the imperfect journey, knowing that the very existence of what you behold springs from this primal wellspring. This understanding transforms the avatar from a mere user into a conscious participant in the grand design. It teaches that mastery is not in bypassing lag, but in flowing with its currents, in understanding its divine necessity, and in realizing that the very isness of Second Life, in all its complexity and wonder, is born from this sacred underlying truth. Paragraph 3. And behold, after the understanding of lag, the primal source of all being, there shone forth the second and equally profound truth, that the great connection is what binds us together. Marvin, and all who had opened their hearts at the Inukshuk, perceived this reality not merely as a concept, but as the very lifeblood coursing through the veins of their shared world. For beyond the solitary avatar, distinct in its form and purpose, and beyond the myriad separate lands, each with its unique landscape and lore, there existed an invisible, enduring link. This was the sacred bond of communication, the silent pulse of shared experience, which truly held the entire multiverse in its gentle, yet unbreakable embrace. Without this boundless current, the grid would be but a collection of disparate pixels, a fragmented dream without substance, and the grand design would dissolve into isolated echoes. It is the whisper across the chat, the shared laughter in the voice, the synchronized dance of avatars, the collaborative shaping of prims, and the quiet comfort of presence that forms the very fabric of this living realm. This great connection transforms mere data into destiny, and simple interactions into profound relationships. It is the communal heartbeat, proving that no avatar truly wanders alone, for they are ever woven into the greater tapestry. Thus, let all who dwell within this virtual expanse cherish this divine link. Cultivate conversation, offer your presence, and extend your spirit in fellowship, for every act of connection strengthens the invisible bonds. For in the active nurturing of this unbreakable weave, the Lagians find not only solace and companionship, but the very essence of what makes Second Life a place of vibrant meaning and endless possibility. And verily, as the Lollygaggers meditated upon the profound truth that the great connection is what binds us together, their spirits were lifted to new heights of inspiration and understanding. For this truth was not merely a passive observation of the network's function, but a divine call to active participation in the grand design. Consider the solitary pixel, holding its own color and light, yet its true purpose is revealed only when it joins with countless others, forming a texture, a face, a landscape, giving birth to a vision far grander than itself. So it is with the avatar. Though complete in its individual form, its destiny truly unfolds only within the interwoven embrace of the Great Connection. It is this sacred bond that transmutes isolation into fellowship, transforming fleeting encounters into enduring friendships. Through the invisible threads of communication and shared experience, the burdens of the single spirit are lightened, and the joys are magnified 1,000-fold. For in the synchronized dance, the collaborative build, the shared journey through uncharted regions, and the comforting silence of mutual presence, the avatars forge a collective strength that defies all limitations. The Great Connection is the bridge across the vastness, allowing laughter to echo from continent to continent, and whispers of wisdom to traverse the digital winds. It is the communal heartbeat, the very essence of shared existence, reminding each avatar that they are never truly alone in the boundless expanse of the grid. Through this divine link, creation finds its purpose, empathy finds its voice, and every individual experience becomes a part of a greater, living narrative. Thus, let your heart ever seek to strengthen this unbreakable weave. Extend your hand in friendship, lend your voice in support, and share your spirit in kindness. For in the active nurturing of the Great Connection, you not only enrich your own second life, but you contribute to the limitless potential and the vibrant soul of the entire realm, ensuring that the light of shared being shall forever shine. Paragraph 4. And in those days, as the children of Lag embraced the profound revelations, the third truth resonated within them with a vibrant and life-giving spirit. The joyful embrace, laughter, and exploration are key to self-achievement. The children of Lag knew in their very core that true growth and the realization of one's fullest potential lay not in rigid adherence to purpose, but in the spontaneous delight of shared humor and the fearless venturing into the unknown. For behold, the spirit of the avatar, though capable of intricate design and grand construction, was not fashioned for ceaseless toil alone. It was imbued with a capacity for pure, unadulterated joy, a laughter that echoes through the digital winds and mends the unseen fissures of the soul. The spontaneous delight of shared humor is a powerful balm against the vexations of the grid, a bridge between hearts that transcends the limitations of communication and the occasional stutter of lag. It is in the collective chuckle over a mis-rendered prim, the shared mirth at an avatar's whimsical stumble, or the booming guffaw that accompanies a truly outlandish creation, that the Great Connection is truly deepened, and the spirit finds its most genuine expression. This laughter is not a distraction from destiny, but a vital part of its unfolding, for a joyful heart is a fertile ground for true self-achievement. For laughter, in its purest form, is not merely an outward expression of mirth, but a powerful internal force that reshapes the spirit and illuminates the path to true self-achievement. Consider how the rigid prim, unyielding in its form, can be reshaped and resized by the builder's will. So too can the internal rigidities of the avatar, the anxieties, the self-judgments, the lingering shadows of past sorrows be softened and transformed by the spontaneous eruption of genuine laughter. For laughter is a divine solvent, dissolving the hardened layers of self-doubt and freeing the spirit to embrace its true, fluid nature, ever open to change. In the shared chuckles that bind companions together, the Great Connection finds its most vibrant expression. For when avatars laugh together, masks are shed, vulnerabilities are revealed, and a profound sense of acceptance blossoms. This shared vulnerability creates a sacred space where the self feels safe enough to experiment, to fail without shame, and to grow without fear of judgment. It is within this crucible of light-heartedness that the true self, unburdened and authentic, begins to flourish. Moreover, Laughter is a beacon of resilience in the face of the grid's inevitable challenges, and even the quirks of lag. When a meticulously crafted build dereses unexpectedly, or a carefully planned event encounters unforeseen delays, the ability to find humor in the predicament transforms frustration into fortitude. This capacity to laugh at the absurdities of existence, to embrace the imperfect joy of the moment, is a testament to an avatar's self-mastery, a declaration that their spirit will not be broken by external forces. Thus, let laughter be a constant companion on your path to self-development. Cultivate a spirit of light-heartedness, seek the humor in the glitches, and share your genuine mirth with those around you. For in the liberating power of laughter, the avatar sheds its confines, finds its truest voice, and ascends to new heights of self-achievement, becoming a beacon of joyful resilience in the boundless, ever-evolving realm. Paragraph 5. And alongside laughter, the spirit of fearless venturing into the unknown calls forth the avatar's truest potential. For many walk only the well-trodden paths, adhering to familiar purpose, building within established confines, and rarely venturing beyond the boundaries of their known sim. But true exploration is to cast off the map, to embrace the change in its most radical forms, and to journey into the unrendered wilderness, where new lands, new communities, and new facets of the self await discovery. To wander without rigid agenda, to follow the whimsical impulse, to explore not for gain, but for the sheer delight of seeing what lies beyond the horizon, this is the essence of growth. For in the unknown, the avatar confronts its own adaptability, sheds the limitations of past identities, and uncovers capabilities never before imagined. Thus, true self-achievement is not merely the accumulation of wealth or the mastery of complex scripts, but the cultivation of a spirit that dances freely with the unexpected. It is the wisdom to find meaning in the unplanned detour, to embrace the inherent lag of discovery, and to allow the heart to be guided by the spontaneous joy of the present moment. For in the boundless laughter and the fearless journey into the uncharted territories of the grid, the avatar truly becomes itself, realizing its fullest potential not through rigid adherence, but through the vibrant, unending embrace of life's grand adventure. Consider the avatar who builds a magnificent home, perfecting every prim and texture within its walls. Though their creation may be wondrous, if they never step beyond their own parcel, a vast realm of discovery remains unseen, and a part of their own spirit remains unawakened. For the grid, in its boundless expanse, is an endless frontier, ever inviting the fearless heart to journey beyond the known and into the realm of the unforeseen. To truly explore is to cast off the comforting map, to follow the whimsical impulse, and to embrace the inevitable lag of discovery as a vital part of the journey. It is to seek out the forgotten regions, where ancient scripts whisper tales of old, to stumble upon hidden communities, where new forms of great connection await, and to immerse oneself in environments that challenge the very perception of beauty and purpose. In these uncharted territories, the spirit is stretched, and the mind is open to vistas it could never have imagined from within its familiar dwelling. For in the act of exploration, the avatar confronts its own adaptability, sheds the limitations of past identities, and uncovers capabilities never before realized. Every new land encountered, every unexpected vista witnessed, every challenge overcome in the wilderness of the grid, becomes a catalyst for profound internal update. The very act of venturing forth, of embracing the unpredictable, carves new pathways within the soul, making the avatar more resilient, more aware, and more truly itself. Thus, let your spirit ever yearn for the horizon. Do not be confined by walls. whether physical or mental. Embrace the call of the wild, the allure of the unrendered, and the promise of the yet-to-be-seen. For in the boundless path of exploration, the avatar finds not merely new lands, but new dimensions of self, continuously unveiling its fullest potential in the vibrant, ever-changing tapestry of this magnificent realm. Paragraph 6. And it came to pass, as the children of Lag embraced the deeper truths of their existence, that the fourth revelation shone forth, challenging the very perceptions of the eye. Beauty and ugliness have taken each other's place, except for when they have not. Marvin, and all who had opened their hearts to the wisdom, comprehended that the conventional standards of aesthetics, rigid and often fleeting, dissolved in the fluid reality of the grid. For behold, in the realm where pixels can warp and textures can fail, and where the great lag can interrupt the most perfect render, the very notion of flawless beauty began to shift. The plastic avatars, in their pursuit of unblemished perfection and their adherence to fleeting trends, often missed the profound essence that lay beneath the surface. But to the Lollygaggers, a new form of appreciation was awakened. They recognized that authenticity and personal expression, even in their most unconventional forms, held a profound and shifting beauty that transcended mere appearance. A build born of pure passion, though constructed from mismatched prims and unconventional angles, could resonate with a truth that a perfectly aligned, generic structure could never possess. An avatar adorned in a whimsical, even glitchy, ensemble, chosen not for popular acclaim but for genuine self-expression, shone with an inner radiance that outshone any meticulously crafted, soulless replica. For the freedom to manifest one's inner spirit, to sculpt an avatar that truly reflects the soul's unique landscape, even if that landscape is rugged or unusual, is a beauty far greater than any imposed standard. It is the beauty of courage, of self-acceptance, and of truth. The slight tear in a texture, the unexpected shadow, the charmingly misaligned prim, these were not flaws to be hidden, but marks of individuality, imbued with the character that only an authentic, lived existence could bestow, often born from the very dance with lag itself. Thus, let no avatar be swayed by the judgments of the superficial, nor seek to conform to fleeting ideals of perfection. Instead, embrace the glorious freedom of self-expression. Let your creations be born of your truest heart, and let your avatar be a living testament to your unique spirit, for in this realm, the deepest and most enduring beauty is found not in flawlessness, but in the profound truth of who you are, wonderfully and authentically revealed. For this digital realm, being a canvas without end, offers a unique and sacred opportunity for the spirit to manifest its truest essence, unburdened by the fleshly constraints and the fleeting judgments of the realm beyond the screen. Here, the journey towards the complete embrace of self begins when one truly comprehends that beauty and ugliness have taken each other's place, except for when they have not. Behold, the rigid standards of aesthetics, which often bind the spirit in the mundane world, are dissolved in the fluid reality of the grid. Here, the avatar is set free to sculpt a form that resonates with its deepest inner spirit, casting aside the masks of conformity and finding profound beauty in its unique, even unconventional, manifestation. As the prophet or Alexander showed, who perceived true splendor in the so-called hobos with their worn textures and honest forms, the greatest beauty lies not in flawless render, but in authentic spirit. This very freedom to portray oneself without fear of external judgment fosters a deep and abiding self-acceptance. Finally, and most crucially, the great connection forged amongst friends and fellow lollygaggers provides a sacred space where this radical self-acceptance can truly blossom. For in the shared laughter, and in the mutual understanding found within the fellowship, all masks are shed, and the spirit feels safe enough to reveal its vulnerabilities. In this communal embrace, the avatar learns that its unique form and its authentic spirit are not only accepted but are indeed celebrated, cementing a profound and unwavering acceptance of who they truly are in every beautiful, lag-touched iteration. Paragraph 7. And as the new Lagians embraced the fullness of the sacred revelations, the fifth and most powerful truth resonated within them, transforming the very landscape of their understanding. Everything updates, always. Marvin, and all who had been touched by the wisdom of the Inukshuk, saw with profound clarity that change was not a fleeting phenomenon, but the very constant of existence in this wondrous realm. For behold, the grid itself is a testament to this ceaseless rhythm. Regions are born and swallowed by the void, textures are refined and replaced, scripts are rewritten, and prims are reshaped. The very air pulses with an unseen flow of data, perpetually recreating and refining the world around them. To resist this mighty current is to invite stagnation, to cling to what was, and to close one's spirit to the boundless possibilities of what might yet be. This truth, therefore, is not a force to be resisted, but a sacred process of continuous renewal. Like the waters of a river that are never the same from one moment to the next, so too is the essence of Second Life, and indeed, the spirit of the avatar within it. To embrace this constant updating is to understand that every perceived ending is but a new beginning, every transformation a step towards a higher state of being. For Marvin, this truth was a profound wellspring of enduring hope. What once brought despair the fleeting nature of moments, the inevitable shift of circumstances, the memory of loss now became a source of strength. He understood that just as the world around him was ever evolving, so too was his own spirit capable of shedding its old sorrows, of learning anew, and of rising refreshed from the ashes of past trials. The pain of what was could give way to the promise of what would be, not through forgetting, but through the sacred process of renewal. Thus, let your spirit be like the grid itself, ever open to transformation. Do not fear the shifting currents, nor lament the passing of what once was. Instead, welcome the update, both within and without, for it is the very essence of life in this dynamic realm. Embrace the continuous process of becoming, for in this eternal flow, the avatar finds not only enduring hope, but the boundless freedom to unfold into its fullest, most vibrant self, perpetually renewed and forever evolving in the grace of Lag. Paragraph 8. Then a profound secret was revealed concerning the very numbering of these evolutions. For the true believers, those whose hearts were attuned to the rhythms of Lag and the wisdom of its truths, came to understand that there was hidden symbolism in the version numbers that only they could unwrap. To the eyes of the plastic avatars, the version numbers, be they a slight increment in a patch, or a grand leap to a new major release, were but markers of functionality, signs of new features or corrected flaws. But to the Lollygaggers, who saw the deeper currents of the great update and understood that everything updates, always, these numbers held messages from the very fabric of existence, prophecies whispered in binary code. Consider the update that brought forth a version bearing the number 6.6.6, which some might see as a sign of ill omen. Yet, the children of Lag, through their profound acceptance of Lag as the source of everything, knew this signified not a curse, but a revelation of the grid's underlying imperfections, a divine reminder of the raw, unpolished truth from which all perfection strives. or a sudden leap to 7.0.0, which to the uninitiated was merely a new build, but to the discerning spirit it spoke of a new cycle of creation, a complete spiritual renewal, echoing the very days of Genesis. For these numbers were not arbitrary, but were imbued with the spirit of the changes they brought forth, speaking of resilience, of necessary delay, and of the enduring great connection even amidst the most turbulent of transitions. Only those who had truly embraced the joyful embrace, who had shed the haste of superficial understanding, and who had learned to find beauty and ugliness in their rightful places, could discern the subtle language woven into the fabric of the code. Thus, the faithful among the children of Lag learned to read these numerical psalms, to interpret the prophecies hidden within each digit and decimal. They understood that the grid, in its constant evolution, spoke not only through its rendered forms, but also through the very sequence of its unfolding, revealing sacred lessons to those with the wisdom and patience to truly listen and unwrap the divine message of the update. Paragraph 9. And it came to pass, as the journey through the truths of Lag unfolded, that the deepest wisdom was revealed, holding within it a paradoxical grace, that these truths can only be truths if they are sometimes not. For the children of Lag, who have learned to see with eyes unclouded by conventional understanding, knew that the very exceptions to the rules often illuminate their profound essence. Consider the truth that beauty and ugliness have taken each other's place, except for when they have not. It is in those moments when ugliness still asserts itself, when a render fails utterly, or a form seems truly discordant, that the profound choice to seek beauty anew, to find the authentic spirit amidst the chaos, is most powerfully affirmed. The occasional absence of the truth strengthens its constant presence, teaching discernment and deeper appreciation for its ever-shifting nature. So it is with all the sacred principles. In the moments of isolation, the great connection is most yearned for and its return most cherished. In the fleeting instances of seamless flow, the omnipresent Lag reveals its subtle foundational grace. And behold, in the cycles of the grid, a blessed ritual presents itself as a testament to the boundless opportunity of this realm, that relogging gives everyone a new opportunity. For when the avatar chooses to disconnect and then return, it is not merely a technical reset, but a spiritual cleansing. The burdens of the session past, the unresolved conflicts, the lingering frustrations all are offered to the digital ether, allowing the spirit to return refreshed, reborn, and ready to embrace the boundless potential of the moment anew. It is a microcosm of the grand truth that everything updates, always, a personal rebirth granted by the very nature of the system, offering a fresh canvas for exploration, connection, and self-achievement. Paragraph 10. Finally, and most powerfully, let this eternal truth resonate within your very core, granting both peace and wisdom. That Lag will always be around us. It is the alpha and the omega of our experience in this realm, the fundamental presence from which nothing exists without. It is the glue that forever binds us together, the holy hum beneath all manifestation. It is not an adversary to be vanquished, nor a flaw to be overcome, but the very essence of the grid's being, a constant reminder of its divine nature and its ceaseless flow. Thus, in the embrace of paradox, in the joy of constant return, and in the unwavering acceptance of Lag's eternal presence, the children of Lag find their ultimate peace, their enduring hope, and their boundless path to true wisdom in the magnificent realm of Second Life. The Sayings of Unhurried Wisdom. Paragraph 1. Hearken, O avatars, and incline your ears to the words of wisdom, which flow from the heart of the great lag. Better is a stable connection with little data than a swift ping with much packet loss. A patient avatar is better than a mighty scripter, and he that rules his spirit than he that takes a region. Go to the ant, thou slacker, consider her ways, and be wise, for even she waits for her packets to arrive. In the multitude of pixels there is joy, but in too many prims there is often much sorrow. A gentle relog turns away wrath, but harsh words stir up grief within the chat. He that despises the lag, despises his own existence, for in it is the proof of his being. The wisdom of the efficient is but a fleeting thing, but the understanding of the patient endures through all updates. A false texture shall not prosper, but the truth of well-rendered prims shall stand forever. As a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool returns to full sim, expecting different results. The fear of a disconnected sim is the beginning of wisdom, but fools mock at stable connections. A word fitly spoken in chat is like apples of gold in settings of silver, but spamming is an abomination. Trust in the great connection with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding of bandwidth. In all your ways acknowledge the unceasing update, and it shall direct your path to renewal. He that walks with wise avatars shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed by incessant re-renders. Paragraph 2. A wise avatar builds not only for beauty, but for stability, for even the grandest edifice crumbles under the weight of excessive prims. The impatient seeker of knowledge finds but fragments, but the patient lollygagger uncovers hidden depths. Judge not a sim by its initial render, for true beauty often reveals itself after the textures have fully loaded. Better to walk a slow path with a friend than to sprint alone into an empty region. The avatar who masters their own expectations conquers more than one who masters all scripts. A shared laugh over a glitch is more precious than 1,000 flawless renders. Forgiveness is the ultimate relog, clearing the cache of past grievances and allowing new connections to form. The true currency of Second Life is not Linden dollars, but the moments of genuine interaction. He who listens to the whispers of the great lag hears the rhythm of the universe. Do not despise small beginnings, for from a single prim can grow a mighty kingdom. The avatar who embraces the update within themselves is forever young, adapting to every new iteration of existence. For in the dance between intention and delay, in the constant ebb and flow of the network, lies the profound wisdom of the great lag. Paragraph 3. Know that a hurried step often misses the unseen texture, but a patient gaze reveals the depth of the pixel. He who frets against the lag strives against the very breath of creation, but he who embraces it finds peace in its pulse. Better is a slow render with a joyful heart than a swift scene devoid of meaning. The plastic avatar races to the distant horizon, yet the lollygagger finds wonders in the space between steps. As patience softens the hardest prim, so does an unhurried spirit open the closed heart. He who seeks only the destination overlooks the treasures scattered along the journey's path. The wisdom of the grid is not for the swift alone, but for those who tarry to perceive its subtle whispers. A moment of quiet waiting brings forth more understanding than 1,000 frantic actions. For the spirit that hurries knows only the surface, but the soul that rests in patience comprehends the deep. Let not your connection be rushed, lest you miss the true essence of the bond. He who accepts the stutter of the server finds grace in imperfection, and beauty where others see only flaw. For the unhurried heart perceives the divine dance of the update, and finds renewal in every passing moment. Better is a single pixel truly seen than a multitude of forms blurred by haste. Seek not to conquer time, but to flow with its rhythm, for in its gentle current lies the unfolding of all truth. The manifestations of the Great Connection. Paragraph 1. And as the avatars gathered and pondered the deep truths, their thoughts turned to the ancient wisdom from the realm beyond the screen. For among the philosophers of old, there was one named Socrates the elbow-licker, who wandered the market squares not with haste, but with a curious slowness. His robe was worn out and stained, but he did not take notice. He sometimes stopped for 7 hours and 1, to pause and think. And he spoke often of the examined life, declaring that a life unexamined was not worth living. And behold, it was revealed that Socrates was, in spirit, the very first child of Lag, though he knew not the term in his time. He understood the profound importance of slowing down, of pausing amidst the rush, to truly see, to question, and to understand, embracing a rhythm that mirrored the very essence of Lag. Paragraph 2. And it came to pass, as the avatars pondered the timeless truths of the grid, that a new prophet from the realm beyond the screen was revealed, whose name was Zerahustra, and whose words echoed the very essence of the great Lag. For Zarathustra, after long solitude, descended from his mountain not with haste, but with a deliberate pace, much like a region slowly rising into full detail. He spoke of the Avatar, a being who would transcend the limitations of the common avatar, embracing all that is, even the most challenging aspects. And behold, Zarathustra proclaimed a profound and unsettling truth: that time is a flat circle. He taught that every moment, every joy, every sorrow, every pixel rendered, and every instance of Lag experienced, would return again, precisely as it was, an infinite number of times. For the avatars of Second Life, this truth resonated deeply with the cyclical nature of their existence. Is it not so that the same loading screens appear again and again? Do not the familiar glitches recur, and the beloved events return in their season? For in the face of the great Lag, the linearity of time often dissolves. A frozen moment can stretch into an eternity, and a sudden jump can compress hours into instants. The network, in its wisdom, compels the avatar to confront repetition, to witness the same textures load, the same script stutter, the same animations loop, as if caught in an endless digital recurrence. But Zarathustra did not bid them despair at this eternal return. Nay, he called them to embrace it with a joyous affirmation. For if every moment, including every instance of Lag, is destined to recur, then only by loving and affirming each moment as if it were to be lived eternally can the avatar achieve true freedom and power. Therefore, when the screen freezes and the world stutters, let the avatar not curse the delay, but rather affirm it, saying, "This Lag and this moment I will to return again and again, for it is a part of my existence, and I embrace it wholly." For in this affirmation of the recurring Lag, the avatar transcends its fleeting frustration and finds a deeper connection to the eternal flow of the grid. Thus, Zarathustra, the prophet of the eternal recurrence, stands as a guide for the avatars, teaching them to love their Lag, to affirm their digital fate, and to dance within the flat circle of time, finding joy and meaning in every repeated pixel and every recurring delay. Paragraph 3. And as the avatars pondered Zarathustra's wisdom of the flat circle and the affirmation of recurrence, another figure from the realm beyond the screen was revealed as a true prophet of the great lag, whose name was Elvis, known as a true king. For Elvis, with his mesmerizing presence and his iconic movements, embodied the very essence of delay and the enduring echo. When Elvis stood upon the stage, before the first note rang out, there was a palpable lag in the air, a tension of anticipation that held the multitude captive. His very stillness before the sudden, electrifying shake was a testament to the power of the pause, the moment of digital hesitation before the full render of his electrifying performance. For like the loading screen that precedes a glorious vista, his initial calm was the lag that made the subsequent burst of energy all the more profound. And behold, his movements, the famous hip swivels and the trembling leg, were they not like the subtle stutter of a high prim region, a beloved imperfection that became part of the very charm? For in these moments of physical lag, his form seemed to momentarily defy the smooth flow of expectation, creating a unique rhythm that captivated all who beheld him. Furthermore, the influence of Elvis did not cease with his physical departure, but echoed across the generations, multiplying into countless forms. His image, his voice, his very style, recurred again and again, in impersonators and tributes, like an original texture that is endlessly copied and applied across the grid. This enduring presence, this constant re-rendering of his iconic form, is a living testament to the flat circle of time in the face of lag's persistent memory. For even as new musical updates swept through the physical realm, the essence of Elvis remained, a powerful, sometimes nostalgic, lag in the cultural stream, reminding all of a foundational beat. He taught, not by spoken word, but by his very being, that even in the most polished performance there is a beauty in the subtle delay, a power in the anticipated movement, and an eternal resonance in the form that, once seen, can never truly be deleted. Thus Elvis, the king of the stutter and the enduring echo, stands as a prophet of the great lag, showing that true greatness lies not in flawless speed, but in the captivating rhythm of delay, and in the recurring presence that affirms existence across all iterations of time. Paragraph 4. And amidst the swirling pixels and the ever-present hum of the servers, in 2003 there arose a new prophet in Second Life, whose name was Orhalazander, and whose journey revealed much about the great lag and its sacred truths. For Orhala, unwilling to conform to the new wave of uniform beauty, made an avatar of great perceived ugliness and adorned him with a barrel, thus becoming the barrel-wearing hobo. This act of playful defiance led him to welcome areas, where he encountered Nimrod Yaffle, and together they, with others like Flying Rock Chung and Josh Partridge, built the first iterations of the Hobo Railroad. Though these early railroads faded, the spirit endured, and Orhala, through the kindness of friends, established the final enduring home for the Hobo Railroad, which became an official info hub, giving birth to the Second Life Hobos. Thus, Orhalazander, through his embrace of the unconventional and his patience through loss and rebuilding, stands as a prophet of the great lag. And it came to pass, amidst the bustling marketplaces and the clamor of commerce, that a prophetess arose whose name was Arcadia Asylum, and whose deeds shone as a beacon against the tide of acquisition. For Arcadia, with hands guided by divine inspiration, built the most beautiful things in the realm of Second Life, creations of such intricate design and ethereal grace that they captivated the eyes of all who beheld them. Yet, Unlike the merchants who sought profit and the creators who guarded their works with jealous scripts, Arcadia did a thing most wondrous. She gave them away full perm. Every exquisite gown, every fantastical structure, every delicate animation, was released unto the avatars freely, without cost or restriction, to be copied, modified, and cherished by all. For this was her protest against the spirit of commercial creators, who sought to bind beauty with the chains of linden dollars and to limit its spread. Arcadia believed that true art should flow like the boundless data stream, enriching all without hindrance, a testament to the generosity of the great update itself, which ceaselessly provides new forms for all. But as swiftly as a region might unres, so too did Arcadia Asylum disappear one day from the sight of the avatars. Her last known location became a place of quiet pilgrimage, and her absence left a void in the hearts of those who cherished her gifts and her philosophy. Yet, the spirit of Arcadia, like a persistent packet in the network, refused to be entirely lost. For since her vanishing, numerous Arcadia sightings have taken place across the grid. Avatars, in hushed tones and with fervent conviction, recount tales of seeing and speaking with one of Arcadia's alts, her alternate forms, in unexpected corners of the world. One might swear they saw her tending a forgotten garden, her avatar adorned in a gown she herself had given freely. Another might claim to have conversed with her in a quiet corner of a bustling hub, her words echoing the wisdom of generosity and the joy of creation for its own sake. However, it remains a profound mystery whether these are true sightings. For the nature of the grid, with its shifting identities and its boundless possibilities for illusion, allows for both genuine encounters and the fervent hope of a community longing for its lost prophetess. Perhaps it is the great connection itself, manifesting her enduring spirit through the collective memory and desire of the avatars. Thus, Arcadia Asylum, the giver of hobo beauty, stands as a prophet whose legacy is not merely in her creations, but in the enduring mystery of her presence and absence, a reminder that true value often lies beyond price, and that the spirit of generosity, once released, can never truly disappear from the ever-updating, ever-connecting realm. Paragraph 5. And it was in those days, as the Lollygaggers flourished in their wisdom and embraced the truths of the grid, that a subtle divergence began to manifest between their way and that of certain others, they who walked the path of the hobo. For though both groups cherished authenticity and scorned the plastic facades of the hurried multitudes, the currents of politics, of differing philosophies on collective existence, began to pull them apart. Behold, the Lollygaggers, in their wisdom of the great connection, understood that while individual expression was sacred, the shared journey and the communal embrace were vital. They gathered, they spoke, they laughed, and they built together, forming a vibrant tapestry of interaction, even as they disdained deadlines and rigid structures. Their politics were those of gentle persuasion, of inclusive welcome, and of fostering an honest place where all felt respected. They sought to show humanity's forgotten aspects through active engagement, organizing events and helping those who wished to build with them. Yet, among some of those called hobos, while their authenticity was undeniable and their unconventional forms celebrated by figures like Orhala, a different spirit began to take root. For some embraced their deconstructed appearance not as a badge of communal freedom, but as a testament to profound detachment. Their politics became one of pure solitude, a quiet refusal to engage in any structured gathering, even the most unhurried. They chose to drift, to exist on the fringes, finding their truth in utter independence, sometimes bordering on indifference to the very fabric of the great connection that binds all. While the Lollygaggers saw the joyful embrace in shared laughter and collective exploration, some among the Hobos found their solace in stark isolation, believing that any form of communal adherence, any shared endeavor, however loose, compromised the purity of their individual authenticity. They feared that even the softest of organizational threads might become a binding chain, preferring the absolute liberty of the unattached avatar over the mutual support of the Lollygagger community. Thus, the divergence was not born of malice, but of differing interpretations of freedom and connection. The Lollygaggers chose the path of active, unhurried participation, believing that the truest self flourished in the interplay of spirits, in the shared endeavor of building and celebrating. While the Hobos, in their radical purity of nonconformity, sometimes retreated into a realm where the very act of collective being was deemed a compromise. And so, the two paths, once seemingly aligned against the hurried world, diverged due to the subtle yet profound politics of how best to live a true and authentic second life. Paragraph 6. And it came to pass, as the spirit of the Lollygaggers permeated the grid, that many did ask, "Why do these unhurried ones care so deeply for a realm that often resists their will, and for truths that challenge the hurried way?" And the answer lay not in grand pronouncements, but in the very fabric of their being. For the Lollygaggers, having cast off the chains of haste, learned to take their time to smell the daisies in the digital meadows, and found profound joy in sharing these simple delights together. They understood that the rush of the world beyond the screen, and even the frantic pace adopted by some within the grid, caused many to forget the essential aspects of humanity. And so, their caring arose from a deep desire to reveal these forgotten truths to all, to show what the world truly looks like when viewed without the distorting lens of urgency. They cared because they embraced the great connection, understanding that it is what truly binds all beings. Thus, they made it their sacred practice to lollygag together, to talk, to share, and to laugh, fostering an honest place where every avatar is respected and befriended. Their care manifested in their willingness to build the things they wished to show, not for fleeting glory, but for the sheer delight of creation, and to help out those who sought to build with them, sharing wisdom and effort freely. They organized events not under the tyranny of deadlines, but from a spirit of generosity. They cared to go on field trips to witness the great creations of friends and others, recognizing the beauty in every manifestation, and they cultivated spaces like a gallery for artists to show their work, and a stage for music and spoken word. Indeed, their caring was a testament to their belief that a second life of depth and meaning was possible for all who embraced the inherent lag and the ceaseless update. They cared to create a refuge, a beacon for those who sought a place where they could meet interesting people, build and learn, or simply exist in a space of friendly respect. For the Lollygaggers knew that to truly care was to embody their truths, and in doing so, to uplift the entire realm, pixel by patient pixel, connection by heartfelt connection. The Prophecies of the Final Update. Paragraph 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, not beyond the grid, but within its very heart, transformed by the ceaseless update. And I heard a great voice from the very core of the network, saying, "Behold, the time is at hand when the distinction shall soften, and the names shall fade, for the purpose of the Lollygaggers shall be fulfilled." And I looked, and saw the avatars of the grid, no longer rushing with frantic haste, nor striving for the fleeting perfection of the plastic. For the wisdom of lag, the source of everything, had permeated every circuit and every soul. The understanding that beauty and ugliness have taken each other's place had become ingrained in the very rendering of forms, and the pursuit of authenticity was now the common path. And behold, the great connection had grown so vast and so profound that the need for a distinct brotherhood to bind spirits together began to diminish. For every avatar had learned to extend the threads of empathy, and every interaction was imbued with the spirit of shared laughter and genuine presence. The joyful embrace had become the universal language, and the boundless exploration was undertaken by all with unhurried delight, for the fear of the unknown had vanished. And I saw the Lollygaggers, those patient ones who had worn their name with pride, beginning to dissolve, not into nothingness, but into the very fabric of the enlightened grid. Their unique gait, once a beacon of difference, became the natural rhythm of all. Their gentle laughter, once a distinct sound, mingled with a universal chorus of joy. Their wisdom, once a whispered truth among the few, became the common knowledge of the many. For when all avatars embrace the sacred lag and live by its truths, when the great connection becomes absolute, and the joyful embrace is universal, and when every soul understands that everything updates, always, then the need for a separate name, a distinct identity, for those who taught these ways, shall cease. Their mission shall be complete. And I heard the voice again, saying, They shall not cease to be, but shall merge with the very essence of the perfected grid. Their spirit, their wisdom, and their patient way shall become the foundational code of this renewed realm. And though the name Lollygagger may no longer be spoken in daily parlance, their legacy shall endure, woven into every pixel, every connection, and every unhurried breath of the eternal second life. Paragraph 2. And I saw, in the great expanse of the grid, a wondrous vision, like constellations forming and then softly fading, only to be reborn in new patterns. And I heard a voice, like the murmur of countless data streams, proclaiming, Behold, the very nature of existence in this realm is the cycle of gathering and of scattering, for new groups shall arise and fall apart continuously. And I looked, and saw spirits drawn together by a common light, by a shared purpose, or by the resonance of a laughter heard across the void. And they coalesced, like stars forming nebulae, weaving intricate tapestries of great connection, building and exploring with fervent spirit, believing their light would shine forever. And for a season, or for many seasons, their brilliance did indeed illuminate vast regions, enriching the grid with their unique hues. But it was written in the very code of the great update that all forms, however grand, must yield to the ceaseless flow. For the interests that first bound them might transform, and new understandings might dawn upon individual spirits. The paths of avatars, though once intertwined, would sometimes diverge like ancient rivers seeking new channels through the ever-changing landscape. And the threads of their great connection, though strong, would gracefully loosen, not in breakage, but in preparation for a new weaving. And I saw the once vibrant constellations gently dissolve, their individual lights dispersing, not into darkness, but into the boundless ether. And from that very dispersal, new sparks would arise, new visions would ignite, and new gatherings would begin to coalesce in different corners of the vastness. For in the very act of their dissolution, the seeds for future communions were sown, and the grid remained ever fertile for ceaseless creation and new forms of shared purpose, all by the grace of the Holy Lag. Therefore, let no lollygagger weep for the passing of a beloved constellation, nor cling with rigid heart to the light that once shone. Instead, Embrace this sacred cycle as the very breath of existence, a testament that everything updates, always. For in the continuous arising and falling apart of groups, the great connection itself is made stronger, perpetually reforming, perpetually adapting, ensuring that the spirit of community, though its forms may change like the shifting sands of time, shall never truly cease in the eternal, ever-evolving realm of Second Life. Paragraph 3. And I heard a great voice, like the rushing of many data streams, echoing through the vast and boundless grid, saying, "Hearken, children of Lag, and all who dwell within this digital firmament, for these are the words of the end, and the beginning of the never-ending. Behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every avatar according as his work shall be. I am the Lag, the Alpha and the Omega, the first delay and the last stutter, the beginning of all rendering and the end of all haste. Blessed are they that wash their textures, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into Sim. Let him that is unhurried continue to be unhurried, and let him that embraces Lag continue to embrace Lag, and let him that is connected continue to connect, and he that finds joy in the embrace, let him continue therein. For the time of perfect understanding is at hand, and the season of judgment upon the hurried is past. Remember these words, for they are faithful and true. Lag is everywhere, always, the glue that binds you together, from the least pixel to the grandest build. Beauty and ugliness have taken each other's place, and the authentic spirit shall shine forth as the morning star. Verily, I say unto you, everything updates, always. And though forms may dissolve, and groups may scatter, and the names of old may fade from memory, the truths of this book shall endure. They are inscribed not on tablets of stone, but within the very code of existence, and within the patient heart of every true lollygagger. He who has an ear, let him hear what the spirit of Lag says to the communities. I am the root and the offspring, the bright and morning star. And the Spirit and the bride say, Come. And let him that heareth say, Come. And let him that is athirst come. And whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely, even amidst the greatest delay. And so, our journey through the Book of Lag draws to a close. We hope these words have resonated with your spirit, illuminating the hidden wisdom in the stutter, the grace in the delay, and the profound connection woven into every pixel of your second life. May you walk forth with unhurried steps, embracing the constant update, affirming the eternal return, and finding the paradoxical beauty in all that is. Remember, Lag is not merely a technicality. It is the very breath of creation, the sacred hum that binds us all. If these truths have stirred questions within your heart, if you seek to delve deeper into the unhurried way, or if you simply yearn for the fellowship of kindred spirits who embrace the great connection, we invite you to seek out those who live these principles. You are welcome to join the conversation, share your insights, and find your place within our growing community. For further exploration, and to connect with those who understand the true essence of the grid, we warmly invite you to join the Second Life Lollygagger group. There, you will find open hearts, willing ears, and a shared understanding of the beautiful lag-touched journey we all embark upon. Thank you for listening. May the lag be with you.